Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. Happy Friday the 13th, everybody. It is Friday, January the 13th, 2023. I believe there are two Friday the 13ths this year, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe the second one is until October. I don't think there's any more in between now and then. Is that even possible to get three in a year? I'm not sure. Maybe it is. I have no idea. But definitely this is the first of the year. So happy Friday the 13th to all you Friday the 13th and horror fans out there. How are you spending your Friday the 13th? Are you watching your favorite Friday the 13th movie? Are you watching the entire series? Are you binge watching? Are you getting your family together or your friends together or your wife or your brother or your cousin or your uncle or your boss? That'd be kind of weird. But nonetheless, how are you spending your Friday the 13th? Comment below and let me know your favorite Friday the 13th memories, your favorite Friday the 13th movies, maybe the order for which you watch them in. What Friday the 13th movies do you like the best? What Jason do you like the best? Just jump into the comment section below and talk everything Friday the 13th. Let me know below. Now, as a young boy growing up through the 1980s, of course, I got into Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween, probably in about 1983, 84, when I was like 4 and 5 years old, thanks to my older brother, Neil. And of course, at that time, there were only 3 Halloween movies. There was only like maybe 3 Friday the 13th movies. And well, if it was 1983, there wouldn't have even been an Elm Street film yet. But nonetheless, that's when I started to get into horror. And Jason and Freddy were the big ones. Michael was kind of always like a distant third. But I started to really love Michael and get into Halloween thanks to my brother Neil. He was a big Halloween fan because he said to me that Halloween was the first horror movie he ever watched that actually didn't give him nightmares. So I got into Halloween because of him. So thanks to my brother Neil, of course. But of course, you could not have been a young boy growing up through the 1980s and not have loved Freddy and Jason as well. And but to me, I have to admit, I'm not a big fan of the later sequels. If you follow me for any length of time here on the channel, you know that I'm just not a big fan. To me, when I think of Friday the 13th, it is those first 4 movies. Inevitably, something from those first 4 movies will come to me. I always think of Jason from those first 4 movies. I always think of the camp counselors from those first 4 movies. I always think of the music from those first 4 movies. That is Friday the 13th to me. Friday the 13th, 1 to 4. And again, if you follow me for any length of time, you know I'm a huge fan of that original Friday the 13th as well from 1980. There's something you don't hear everybody say. Not too many fans really, or not too many Friday the 13th fans hold that original in high regard. And I do. I just love the mood and the atmosphere and the thunder and the lightning and the help me, mommy, help me. Like, what the fuck is going on out there? Is there a kid out there in the storm? What the fuck? There's a lot of great shit in that movie. But to me, Friday the 13th is 1 to 4. And I have to admit that 5 has grown on me over the years. I did watch 5 as a young kid in the 80s, and I did like it. Not as much as the first 4, but I think because it's so, it comes sort of hot off the heels of part 4, that, it's still, even though it's not Jason and it's, Roy Burns, it's still got that Friday, the first 4 Friday vibe to it, its style and tone and kind of feel to it. Ooh, baby, ooh, baby, ooh, baby, ooh, baby. Like, what the fuck's going on? You're taking a shit and anyway, love that fucking scene. So it's grown on me over the years. I understand that Friday 6 is the fan favorite. It's really sort of the Elm Street 3 of the Friday franchise. And I don't dislike it. I like part 6 well enough, but it's not my favorite. It's never been a fan favorite of mine. I don't know if anybody watching this feels the same way. Like, yeah, no, I like it. It's fine, but but to me, Friday is like those first 4. That's just how I feel about it. And then of course you get to 7, I'm like, okay, and then 8 and 9. And then of course, there's the remake from 2009, which there are elements about it I like, but overall, I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of it, but there's certain elements, like I can pick out certain moments, there's certain scenes or moments or shots in a vacuum that I think are pretty cool. But overall, it didn't really resonate with me at the end of the day. So, but you know what? I'm old school. I'm 43 years old. I'm old school. Friday the 13th to me are those first 4 movies. And yeah, and I remember that there was a kid in my class who used to call him Jason Vanterhees. And shout out to Jamie Hunt. Jamie Hunt, if you're out there, I haven't seen you or spoken to you in 35 years or whatever it's been, but I think it was your brother. Your brother used to say that it was Jason Vanterhees, and I was like, no, it's Voorhees. And you're like, oh, no, my brother says it's Vanterhees. I'm like, Vanterhees? It's Voorhees. I remember that very clearly. We were in like the 4th grade or whatever. It's like, this is like 1987. But nonetheless, fucking strange the things that kids, fight over. But yeah, I was a big fan, man. I was a big fan. You again, like I said, you could not have been a young boy, especially growing up through the 1980s, and not have been a fan of Freddy and Jason and Michael and all that kind of stuff. So, but hey, it's Friday the 13th today. I want all of you, again, like I said, comment below and let me know your favorite Friday the 13th movies. Maybe the order for which you watch them in, and tell me why. Tell me why you watch them in that order, or why these are your favorite. That's the juicy details that gets the discussion going in the comment section below, is the why. That's why it's so cool, right? Or share a favorite Friday the 13th memory. Maybe you cosplay as Jason. Maybe you got a funny convention story. I don't know. It's Friday the 13th today. Let's celebrate it together. Jump into the comment section and have at it down there. But keep it respectful, folks. We're all fans. We're all fans. Anyways, folks, my name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you want to follow me on social media, you can. There are my links right there. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. All my links are in the description. Check them out until your heart's content. And when your heart is content, check them out again. That's going to do it for me. In the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you soon. Happy Friday the 13th. Cheers.